My name's Finley, and I work as a freelance illustrator, custom designer, and a mural painter. My background in art and how I got into mural painting is I've always drawn since I was a child, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so when I got out of high school, I immediately pursued illustration in a custom sense. So I was working for screen print shops, and that ended up into concert poster making, book illustrations, and playing in touring bands and going around and doing all this music and all this art at the same time. Eventually people started asking, will you paint my wall? And then of course, once I met Cheba Hut, that's all I do now. So it's fun, exciting, and weird. The very first mural I created for Cheba Hut was Denver Central Park, and it was an airplane theme. And I came up with putting a bunch of characters inside of the airplane that's inside of the sandwich shop. And all the characters that are in the airplane are all flight oriented. Even as weird as Grandpa Munster, because he turns into a bat. And that was the first one in 2019. And since then, now I've done 35 stores. The Boulder mural compares to some of the others in the sense that it's a large, skinny wall. There'll be several cartoony and realistic elements to it. But one of them that I'm really excited about is I'm gonna do this cyborg jungle tech style buffalo that references like the DTC shop that I just did, which is all jungle tech, cyborg, animatronic, like electronic creatures and that kind of stuff. My process for designing a mural, especially for creative spaces like Cheba Hut, is to come up with a theme first of all, which I'll do that with either headquarters or with the franchisees, and sometimes we make it specific to the area that the shop is located. Sometimes it's a specific theme that they want independently, and sometimes they let me just run with it. I'll tell you about the Johnstown theme and the mural. It was a brainchild of several of us to come up with a list of famous Johns, and we actually came up with a list of over 100, and we had to whittle that down to, I think it was like 22. So the funny thing of like famous Johns, John Travolta, Johnny Ramone, so on and so forth. But then we did some deep dives in there too, and that was essentially it. And then the color palette, since we were going to do a Western with these famous Johns, I had suggested doing it all sepia tone, so it's all kind of old style looking. I gotta tell you, man, it is so cool that Cheba Hut has people do murals, because it's super exciting for the owners. I see it all the time. Like, they're stressed as fuck on how do you get an oven and what do you do with whatever and keep people from cutting their hands off. But the mural is just like fun, and that's their little escape, and I'm there to make it easy on them. So it's a lot of fun, man. The culture of Cheba Hut influences the vibe of the art I choose to make by always making it fun. Always making it peaceful, always making it exciting and vibrant, and bringing elements from all kinds of artistic walks, like street art, fine art, Renaissance, silly cartoon television shows, the back of beer boxes, but the key to all of it is to just make it fun. There are several reoccurring themes and elements that I use. I dubbed it the Cheba-verse years ago, and I've documented all this in a series of sketchbooks that I have. And they range from smoking utensils to the way that I illustrate the sandwiches, or the hash can is a big one that I like to use. I can name a few right off the bat. There, in Johnstown, the Zippo started. I put a Zippo in John Candy's hand, and that has made it into almost every mural since. So over 20 more murals have this Zippo.
Which filter shop?
West. Like if we were to go to another one, that would be the one I would take you to, because I fucking love it, man. Like I don't think it gets a lot of love because it's an older store, and the fact that the original theme of it, the original mural was a Red Rocks mural that was painted by a local friend of theirs. But when it came time to redo it, I looked into the kitchen and there was a space mural that was already there. So I made a Red Rock space mural on the big one to tie it all together, you know? And it's really cool. It's one of my favorites. I love it. The Boulder mural art direction is going to be focused mainly around buffalo. That's where I came up with like the cyborg buffalo breaking through the wall. The wall's made of stone, so I'm gonna do some hieroglyphic and kind of cave painting style buffalo stuff. Leaning into the center piece of the mural is going to be like a smoke sesh with a bunch of different buffaloes. Famous from movies, characters. I created a female like cheerleader for the university. I don't know. Well, that's a buffalo that I think is really cool. But that whole thing is kind of based around the 420 smoke off that the campus would have, and so a big plume of smoke above them, and a lot of cool things, and then that will lead into a nature-oriented, little bit more realistic, nice natural painting of the Flatirons and a buffalo stampede. And then I'm gonna have that morph into a winter scene with a big buffalo portrait in the snow. How do people react to seeing me paint in a Cheba Hut would be, first of all, most of the Cheba Huts are glass storefronts and the murals are right there. So I'm on display for everybody to see. And I'm usually there a week to 2 weeks doing these murals. And so that means not only am I painting, but I'm eating and staying and walking around the neighborhoods that I'm painting in. So for a week to 2 weeks, I'm getting to know everyone in that neighborhood. They're all excited to see Cheba come, and finally one in my neighborhood is what I hear all the time. Or a young artist will be like, how do you get started? And I'll mix them some paint, and I'm like, paint this section right here. And I'll show them how to do this gradient. And I'm like, do that. And they'll just be like, that was so exciting. We'll go buy some paint and continue that at home, you know? So when I'm painting and I'm watching the paint dry, you know, like I'll put a section down and I'll go and grab my next palette of colors and work on something else while this dries. It dries relatively fast, within a couple minutes. But one thing that can be fun and kind of have some neat things, but can also be kind of tough to deal with, is when you're really excited and you're working in on something and you just want to keep going, but if you don't let that paint dry, you're just dragging other shit into it, and there goes the cool thing that you thought you were doing. You know, it's just like put the base. So my process with that would be to put the base coat down, go over, do whatever, come back, put another coat with a shadow and a highlight section, go over, work on stuff, come back, then go in and detail whatever it is that I was doing there. Yeah. Artists and styles that have inspired or influenced me through my Cheba, there are several. I just painted a botanical one in St. Rose outside of Las Vegas in Henderson, Nevada, and it's all plant life and insects, and it's heavily influenced by my friend and mentor Terry Maxwell, famed watercolor painter from Kansas. And that's what's cool. He's passed away, but it was such an honor to print out his art and stick it on the wall. And while I was painting this, I would reference his style and his color. And that was really exciting. You know, I think I'm more influenced by my friends that are artists, you know. A huge influence on me is Mar Williams. And what I get from Mar, besides a great friendship, is like, there are no fucking boundaries on this. How weird and squishy can you make this thing? And it'll still be cute and adorable and family friendly too. And I love that aspect of art, you know. The message and vibe I hope that people get out of my work when they see it on the walls is exciting. I want them to smile. I want them to laugh. I want them to point and go, oh my gosh, there's that thing. You know, I love it when people know the deep dives that I've taken in the research that I put onto this, and they're like, they see that and they get that, you know. It means so much to me. And I want the murals that I do for Cheba Hut to not be a one-stop thing. I don't ever want my murals to just be, I ate there, I saw it, I don't need to see it again. I want them to be excited to come back and keep looking at it and keep looking and find the little things that I add in to make it exciting, you know? Overall, I just want people to really, really enjoy it. I want them to laugh, I want them to smile, I want them to take pictures with it. Yeah.